God is, God is, God is. Take a deep breath and release. Thank you for joining me today. If you're wondering why the video that I did last time suddenly cut off, it's because an ant walked over the camera, and when I glanced over, it turned off in the middle of me talking. However, listening to my first recording, this being my second, I realized that I perhaps was talking very, very erratically, possibly too fast. So today I am sitting down and I chose a spot I chose this spot with these flowers. And these truly are magnificent flowers. This is a flower called the dandelion. And in my city, or maybe even in North America, dandelions are extremely abundant everywhere. I once heard a story, or perhaps not a story, but a lesson that I learned was that, first of all, the dandelion, the medicinal benefits of the dandelion are that they are really, really efficient in assisting the liver to help detox your body. And someone once said that those places that need the most detoxing would have the most dandelions. I don't really know why they're called dandelion, but they are a very, very pretty flower that is quite overlooked. In fact, they grow everywhere. And because they grow in such abundance, people often trample over them without any regard. I don't know if you can see it, and perhaps hopefully you can't, but many of the dandelions in this area, there's probably a few thousand, are trampled upon right now. However, the dandelion, knowing its purpose perhaps, it grows right back. And therefore, because of its quick ability to grow, some people see it as a weed. And of course, weeds in other people's perfectionist state are torn out. But they are not only abundant, they are very resilient. Such a beautiful day today. And as I said before, thank you so much for being here with me. What I wanted to talk about, other than the dandelions, because that was a synchronistic discovery upon, I didn't intend to come here. I just simply walked around until I found a place that resonated with me. But what I wanted to speak about, or what I was drawn to or led to speak about today, was comments. Actually, there was two things, but however, I'm going to make two videos, and in this one, I'm going to talk about comments. Now, the comments that I mean aren't people just saying random things. The comments that I'm referring to are comments on videos and posts and, mostly on videos. You see, as I mentioned before, I'm going to speak to things of how I've come to perceive them. And, the way that I've come to perceive comments on videos is very much an engagement with that video. Now, there are many different ways we can engage with videos, and even these ideas of comments can be then led into the real world. But as we all interact, or many of us interact with different videos and images and other transmissions from our friends, our neighbors, random people around the world, whoever it shall be, there are abilities for us to interact. Now, before I get into comments, the way I've come to perceive, for instance, likes on a YouTube video or likes on posts and such, is more so not as a like, but as a acknowledgement that I have read or possibly seen or experienced the person's comments. Whether I liked them or not, I see likes on posts as love. So to be honest, I've probably liked or pressed like on different videos, maybe more than 50, 60,000 times? See, because as I'm listening to the video, I click on all likes, and sometimes there'll be 200 to 300 comments on a video. And while I know many of them are AIs or sometimes even very negative comments on that person's video, I see them all simply as engagement. One of the things that I've come to realize is that there's a lot of separation that happens. A lot of, I would almost say that we're led to finding further ways to separate ourselves. And I see the likes as simply my way of sharing love to each and every one of those people that have taken the time to comment. And as I said, even the AI, there are many bot comments and you can easily see them. There's a lot of scams out there trying to bolster your ego and then get you to go on WhatsApp and give someone some money for something. And well, perhaps the AI program that convinced us to overlook the obvious large amount of negativity or fakeness and to convince us or inform us that we should do something and somehow we go and do it is over. I still find that every time I press the like and say love, 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 and sometimes it's that fast. Sometimes I just literally scroll through comments just expressing love. And on one particular app, the United News Network app, they've actually turned the like into a love button. And so it's made it really easy. I'm sure there's a lot of people on the UNN app that see that, well, first of all, on the UNN app, they actually show you the individual that gave you that love, which I think is very important. Of course, that's probably easier to do on a smaller community. However, on the YouTube, they still call it like. And I've decided to see beyond like and see that every interaction is an expression of love. So with that being said, now I move over into the comments. You see, I'm currently reading this book, or I'll say restarting to read this book. It's to do with gratitude. I'm not sure the exact title, but it's by the same author who did the book The Secret, Rhonda Bryan, I believe her name is. And it's a book on gratitude, and it's essentially a book that helps us practice gratitude and enhance our ability to express and be gratitude. And in the beginning of the book, they talk about a certain exercise. And in this exercise, the idea is that when we get to the end of our day, that we quietly search for, while we lie in bed before we sleep, we go through our days and we reflect upon all of the things that we are grateful for, and we determine which are we most grateful for. And at first, when I read this or reread this particular exercise, I thought to myself, well, no, I want to think about all of the things I'm grateful for. Now, luckily for me and for everyone else, and I definitely recommend obtaining your own copy of this book once I'm not gaining anything from it. However, you will. Well, actually, I really am. I think that when we share stuff, and that's kind of where I'm going through with the comment portion, that when we share our own experiences with others, it bolsters and empowers us to discover more and share more, and together we can be more. So anyways, this exercise, it explained that the reason why is that they want us to go through all the different ideas and think about all the things we're grateful for, and then to choose one. And they have a little exercise for that specific one to do. I won't ruin it. You can look for the book yourself and possibly do it yourself. But they explained that the reason why that they recommend doing this is because while you're searching for that one thing that you are most grateful for during the day, you are going through all of the other things that you are grateful for that day. And when I was thinking about comments, that kind of touched me in a certain way. And what I mean is that I realized leaving comments when you've invested your time on someone else's video. For example, if someone has created a video, which some videos, when I was creating videos before, some of my 4-minute videos or 3-minute videos, or I even had one video that was like, they're called a short. This video took me almost 7 hours to create a 1-minute video. So, well, it seems that these videos are just short and perhaps insignificant. Sometimes how people consider this powerful plant called the dandelion, other human beings, your friends, your family, your neighbors, your community, someone else in some other country, somewhere far off, are investing their love and their compassion in writing and creating these videos for each of us to consume. And where consumption becomes more equalized is when we return. And perhaps not everyone has to go comment, because I imagine a video that's left with 50,000 comments is going to create a challenge for content creators to interact. However, there are many people who read the comments, who comment on other people's comments. And why this is important, because the way that I've come to see comments are my way of not only expressing to the content creator my appreciation. So, of course, saying thank you or little emojis of gratitude, or sometimes people even write sentences in those emojis. Also, to share my personal takeaways. By commenting, I found that I can search through what I understood or what I took away from the video and share with the community that has been created by that content creator, and express my perspective, my insights, and my cognitions. And on occasion, I will find others who have read my comments, and many times not even the video creator, just random people who were watching the video, and they were led by God's hand, perhaps, to view my comment. And I've had quite a few very interesting experiences from connecting with people who left comments. And so this video is my encouragement to you, if you are listening to this, to consider commenting on people's videos a lot more often. Because not only does it help the content creator, because the way that YouTube and Facebook and all these other platforms work is they will advertise those videos that are interacted and engaged with more often. Yes, they do limit the expression of certain topics that they don't prefer. However, they do definitely, when a video is engaged with through likes, comments, subscriptions, all that lovely stuff, and sharing. Like when I go into the back of my YouTube, I'm actually able to see which apps people came through. So for instance, if it was shared on Facebook or shared on the UNN app, I'm able to see how people got into the video and where they came from. So all these algorithms, all these AI programs, they're truly looking to maximize exposure to videos that hold people's attention. So the longer the video is played for, the more comments that are received, the more likes and the more interactions, and essentially the more usage of screen time. Well, I don't believe we should be spending all of our life on a screen. Those videos that do truly resonate with us, that speak to us, that resonate to our souls, those are the videos that we should be, and I use the word should, yes, but those are the videos that we could support the people creating it. That goes for me, yes. However, I will be blocking comments on videos that I do in this series of me simply just talking. As I'd mentioned, I'm disinterested in having negative videos or advertisement selling books infecting my videos and the community that I hope to build. However, there are other videos on my channel, as well as this is mostly just to encourage each and every one who listens to get involved, because, as I said, comments are an opportunity for each of us to reflect upon that which we have heard, to see what resonates with us, to see how it speaks and what we've learnt. And after you're finished reading that comment, read it again. I highly recommend, because sometimes the comment was left for you. I've often found that when I've when I have spoken or written a comment, my comments can sometimes be long, and after I reading through it again will allow me to, of course, correct anything that I no longer resonate with or that perhaps I said in error, but it will also gives me the opportunity to hear that comment myself, to see how it affects me. And occasionally I have deleted comments that I've written because they no longer resonated with me, or perhaps it wasn't even me at that moment. Now, that I'll explain later when I talk about dark entities and narcissism. But for now, reading over those comments helps me receive my own message, because sometimes God speaks through us to us. And yeah, so I truly hope that you enjoyed these amazing, amazing dandelions. And I look forward to hearing from you through the ether, through the energy, through the wildlife that is all around us. And yeah, God is, God is, God is. Thank you.